Bonjour et bienvenue sur Physio Intox et Régénération, la chaîne qui parle de bien-être, d'alimentation, de santé, de spiritualité et tout ce qui contribue à ton épanouissement psychique, comme moi, physique, comme moi, et émotionnel, comme moi, tout va bien, voilà. Aujourd'hui, une vidéo un petit peu particulière puisque ça va être une interview. Je vais arrêter d'ouvrir ma bouche et de parler pour dire des conneries. Et je vais laisser parler deux personnes qui ont eu une immense expérience voilà, de vie, je pense. Ils ont 65 ans et 70 ans et ils ont couru pendant 366 jours d'affilée un marathon par jour, voilà, toute l'année. Ils ont fait un documentaire de toute leur expérience, un documentaire qui est passé à Cannes cette année et qui va bientôt sortir. Et moi, j'ai eu la chance de les rencontrer, de leur poser des questions que vous m'avez posées. Je remercie Pauline de la chaîne YouTube Douce Frugalité, voilà, qui a accepté de faire les sous-titres de la vidéo en français. C'est super sympa, merci Pauline. Allez voir son taf, allez voir ses vidéos, elle est très informée, très rigoureuse, elle fait les choses avec le cœur comme moi, donc c'est cool. Allez, maintenant on retrouve mes petits chouchous qui vont nous parler de leur mode alimentaire, de leur mode de vie, et qui vont donner un exemple, en tout cas, d'une alimentation tout à fait marginale. Voilà, donc à vous d'en tirer vos propres conclusions, de garder bien sûr votre bon sens, et si ça peut vous servir, tant mieux. Allez, je vous fais un gros bisou, je vous dis à bientôt dans Physio Intox et Régénération, ciao.
Raw is literally cru, so it means the raw courage, the raw food, so food that's not cooked, raw being natural things. 14 years, 100% raw fruit, fresh fruit and vegetables. Well, it depends on the physical activity that we have. So, if you're, for instance, running a marathon every day, then you need about 3,000 to 4,000 calories. And but if just normal life where you do some exercise, you go to work, etc., then maybe up to 2,000. So we can get that just by eating 20 bananas, for instance. Mm-hmm. If you're running a marathon a day, yes, you need more calories. So depends on how much exercise you do and what your lifestyle is like. But normal everyday lifestyle, maybe 2,000, because we do exercise every day in our normal life as well.
A raw meal?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean typically our day, we just start with fruits. We might have some lemon juice and some water, and then maybe a grapefruit or two, and then we don't usually have much more until lunchtime. Yeah. And here in Cannes we've been making salads, so we have tomatoes and lettuce, corn, that sort of thing. And then in the afternoon we normally would have what have
fruit.
Been doing? Yeah, fruit.
Pretty much.
Yeah, we've had
clementines are beautiful right now.
Clementines, melons. The melons here are just superb.
And
so we've been having melons. Yeah. And that's usually it for the day. If we feel hungry, we have more of the same thing, but we don't have a big variety of food.
So we personally don't make a raw meal, a prepared meal. We just eat fruit and vegetables the way they come. It's easier, it's quicker, it's more convenient, and it's beautiful. The market here is just absolutely phenomenal, so we just buy from the market. But if we were to prepare a meal, then probably it would be a salad where we would, combine some ingredients with some lettuce and tomatoes and savory fruits. But that's it. Basically we have fruit and vegetables in abundance, so we eat as much fruit and vegetables as we want, and when our body tells us we've had enough, we've had enough. So it sounds very simple, but it does work. Normally we eat mono, so we only eat one fruit at a time. So a meal to us might be 10 bananas, or maybe 10 or more oranges, or just one fruit at a time, or maybe 2 of the lovely Charente melons, or but if you wanted to combine them, then it's usually a little less, and we don't combine too many together. So maybe 3 different types of fruit together, or and then we just eat as much as we feel, until we feel satiated. Not full, but satiated, because fruit and vegetables eaten raw is 100% nutrient laden. So it's a lot of nutrients, and you therefore, when you've had enough nutrients, you don't feel like eating anymore.
Yes, it is a big question amongst raw foodies, and we even know some that take supplements, but ourselves we don't take any vitamin B12 supplement. So there's all sorts of theories, but I think one theory, if you're low on B12, it may mean you have too much fat in your diet. Mm-hmm. And even if you eat too many avocados, it's still fruit, but it's very high in fat. And it seems to me that if you get the balance a bit wrong, too much fat can cause low B12. There's other theories too, but that's the one we don't. I've only ever once in my life tested B12, and that was after we'd finished running a marathon every day for a year, and it was about a month afterwards. Our vitamin B12 was a little low, so I stopped eating avocados for a few weeks. I went back and had the test, exactly the same. I had a much higher reading, so I was above normal.
Yeah, and we also get B12 from things like beetroot is very good. Beetroot or carrots, or so we get them from our own garden, and we don't wash. So the B12 is in the soil. That's where the B12 is found, and most people get B12 from eating animals that have been eating grass close to the ground. So they've ingested it, and then you think that you're getting it from ingesting them. So because we don't eat animal products, we eat, we grow all our vegetables and fruit organically, and we eat straight from the garden. Yeah, okay. So although there's been some issues, or people think there are issues with people who only eat fruit and vegetables like ourselves, that we may be deficient in B12 or protein or whatever other nutrients people can think of, we wouldn't have been able to run a marathon a day for 366 consecutive days all the way around Australia if we were deficient in anything. So clearly we get enough from the fruit and vegetables that we eat.
C'est juste une preuve, quoi.
Bah oui, mais en même temps, it speaks for itself.
Yeah,
Right, exactly.
yeah,
That's right.
it does.
That's why we did it, so we could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is to a certain extent, because obviously there is an industry there with especially pharmaceuticals and so on, but also I think that there's a misinterpretation with what people have been led to believe for so many years is what is standard or what is required, because it's based on unhealthy people. They don't do studies on healthy people. So all the studies that they come up with, then is based on unhealthy people, and so then they say, well, you need to have this level of this nutrient or whatever, and if you're not getting it from your food, then you have to supplement, or so on. Whereas you can get, like with the level that we get from our fruit and vegetables, is a natural level. It's also a natural combination of nutrients, comes the way it should be, the way nature provides it. So because the studies are based on unhealthy people, the level of nutrients that are actually required for a healthy person may well be lower than what we're being led to believe that we require. So therefore, although they might say because our level is low, they might say it's a deficiency. In fact, it is not.
I think the best advice for the first thing to do, maybe not to go 100% raw straight away, but just try and cut out some of the bad things you might be doing. So maybe you could stop drinking coffee or smoking, drinking alcohol. Those are very obvious things. And you could and then start introducing fruits into your diet. And after a while, your body will tell you that that's what you should be eating.
Yeah, you'll be wanting more of the good food and less of the bad food. And if some of that bad food can be an addiction, you may be addicted to eating things like cheese or so on, then you might want to try just taking out one thing. Eliminate, one, especially animal products, because they're well known to be not very good for us. Eliminate one, but increase the fruit and vegetables. Meat and animal products are, in fact, non-bioavailable to the body, so the body finds it difficult to actually extract any nutrients from it, and what it has to do is basically get rid of it from the body because it's not easily assimilated. So it takes a long time. For instance, if you were to eat a steak, it takes 3 days for your body to actually get it out of the body, and during that 3 days it uses a lot of energy to actually try and extract any nutrients from it. In 20 minutes, the nutrients from fruit is already in the bloodstream.
Okay. So it really is so simple. If your body is alkaline, you'll never get sick. But if your body is on the acid side, which is caused by eating dairy products and other things, you'll always be sick. And it's that simple.
I think the best way to find out, for a person to find out the correct information, the information that actually is true, is to look for the people who are giving information from experience. So, like ourselves, we don't have anything to sell. We are just showing by experience what is possible on a raw plant-based diet and making conscious lifestyle choices. And we've proven without doubt that it works. So if you look for those people and the information that's on on the internet, find the people that don't have something to sell. I mean, a book or something like that obviously is fine, but they don't have a product that they're pushing, but they have information that comes from experience that they can actually show, not from studies, from experience.
And if they look well, then that's a big thing.
Yeah.
If they don't look well,
simple.
they look overweight or they look unhealthy, then maybe that's a clue.
Yes.
Your body tells us.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have to say this, that 20 years ago you couldn't really find a book about raw food or even about plant-based diets, vegan food. But nowadays there's thousands of books out there, and you can just Google on the web raw food.
Yeah.
There's so much information now that wasn't there 10 or 20 years ago.
And also I think that the consciousness is rising exponentially. Like as you say, 10 or 20 years ago, people didn't know what they didn't know, let alone anything else. So now so many people already have some idea that, perhaps what they're doing isn't working for them if they're not healthy, or what they're doing is working for them if they're choosing a more conscious lifestyle. So more and more people are thinking more consciously. Yeah. We really choose our food for many different reasons, and for those that you mentioned, a combination of those. So sometimes we feel like an orange, and that's something our body's telling us. Whatever is in an orange is what we need today, and so we'll eat the orange. Sometimes we choose by color, not because we're specifically looking for a color, but it just happens that way that when we've bought all the food, it's all one color, and that's something that we tend to do. It's the same as choosing the color that you're going to wear today. Why do you do it? It's just something that's perhaps instinctive. So I think it's a combination. When a person is in a healing process and they're eating, more fruits and vegetables for that reason, they will tend to choose what the body tells them they need. Not through their conscious mind, but their body will tell them that. Or you can research what you need, the nutrients you need specifically for healing, and go for those particular fruits and vegetables that have those components in them. Yeah. When you first start eating just fruits and vegetables, like 100% just fruits and vegetables, you notice the change very quickly, in your whole being. You feel more alive, and one of the first things you notice is clarity of mind. You can clearly understand things. You can clearly decide things. You're very decisive, and so it works really well for a lot of people. They suddenly realize that they don't have to analyze or look up things. They know what food to eat, and it does that for you. What we found when we were first speaking with people and trying to help them to make make their own choices about their food, was they would come back within 5 days and say, I feel so different. And for us, we've found that it worked very quickly. You start to feel more healthy, you start to feel more energetic, where our athletic performance went up exponentially. And over the years, 14 years that we've been 100% raw, we have become more physically fit, more healthy every day, and it doesn't stop. So it's very exciting. We're still getting healthier, we're still getting stronger, we're actually getting younger every day. Mm-hmm. Exactly. It is. You know that you regenerate basically the body can regenerate every 3 months. So at this point, we're probably around about 25. And who knows where that's going to take us.
Yes, I think we've actually proved that. When we were running around Australia, we just ate what fruit we could get, because some places in Australia you just can't get good bio food.
In the outback.
Yeah, in the outback. But then we came to a small town and they sponsored us with all the bio organic food that we could eat for the next month. And it was like night and day. Mm-hmm. After 2 or 3 days we felt much more energy. We started to run faster marathons. This is after we'd already done 200 marathons back to back. So we noticed the difference, and it was a great experiment because I didn't really think myself that it would make that much difference, but it was huge.
Yes, it was quite phenomenal. And we basically we grow a lot of our own organically as well, but when we are somewhere like here, we choose to buy bio rather than anything that may have been sprayed, or we ask the traiteurs, we ask them the practices of their growing practices, so that sometimes it's you get that information and it's good enough to know.
Yeah, chewing is very important because to release the enzymes in the food, you really have to chew it well. And I think that's a big pardon?
And the saliva.
Yeah, and the saliva
Mixed
you
together.
mix with the food. So it is very important to chew your food really well.
Yeah. And a lot of people that don't eat raw, like the other foods that is not raw, that doesn't require so much chewing, they're basically inhaling this food, and you're not getting that enzyme release. So then it's in the body, but it can't be assimilated. So it is very important to chew. Yeah. Eat slowly.
So I didn't quite really get the
Have
question.
you ever been a marathoner or a high-level athlete?
Yes, we have.
Record.
I think we have been a high-level athlete. Before we ran around Australia, which was 366 marathons, one every day for a year, we had also run the length of New Zealand, which was 50 marathons consecutively in 50 days. We thought at the time that was a huge deal, running New Zealand, but that was only a very small part of what we did 10 years later. But before all that, we have run together about 60 competitive marathons.
And ultra marathons.
Yeah. And I have run a marathon of just over 3 hours. And even now at the age of 70, I think I could still run a marathon in under 4 hours. I haven't had to do that for a year or two. But I think if I trained again, I could go just under 4 hours at the age of 70.
That's right. Yes, and I've been a runner for a lot longer than Alan, but we've done about the same amount of marathons and ultra marathons together, and separately. And I've placed in quite a few of my marathons and ultra marathons as well. But what we find now is that it's not about the speed. It's about, just doing it for your health and enjoyment. So that's why when we ran around Australia, it was really the 366 consecutive marathons was one whole run for us. It was a continuous run that we had to pace it so that we got from the beginning to the end to finish it. The most important thing about running a marathon or any of that kind of run is starting it, is actually taking the first step.
Thank you.
Absolutely. We actually went 100% raw while we were living in Canada during winter. So yes, and we went through winter, and a lot of people asked us, oh, how can you eat just raw food in the winter time? And it was, snow on the ground and below zero temperatures. Well, for one thing, we don't eat outside. We eat inside in a warm, temperate climate. The most important thing is that the food that we eat can only be ingested at blood temperature or lower. Otherwise we burn ourselves. So even when you cook food and it's hot, it's served hot, you wait until you can actually put it in your mouth. So clearly eating raw food is not something we need to eat to give us heat. We don't warm up with the food. It's a comfort level. So people like in wintertime, they like to hold a hot cup of tea or whatever, but it's just for comfort. It's not something you can actually put in your body. So you blow on the food until it's cool enough. So eating raw food, cold food is not an issue. Well, I think I'm living proof of that question. 14 years ago, I was diagnosed with cancer and told I had 6 months to live. I started eating 100% raw food. I also, during that 6 months, I did a lot of natural therapy, so getting as many nutrients into the body as I possibly could, but at the same time changing my diet to 100% raw and continuing with that for the last 14 years. So in the 6 months that I was given to die, I changed that prognosis, and I'm here as living proof of that. What more can I say?
I think there's another thing to say though, that in the last 14 years we've been on 100% raw plant-based diet. Neither of us have ever been sick once. We've never even had a headache. And even running around Australia, which was quite a stressful thing to do, we were never injured, we never had any running injuries. So I think that's also proof of how a raw food diet works. I have just a little message that I think is very important. People say to us, you must need discipline to go raw, you must have a lot of discipline. And perhaps you do, but not for long. Say you were to give up smoking or drinking coffee, then you might need discipline, but it's only for a few days. And then your body, if you stop doing that for a few days, all of a sudden your body thinks, oh, I feel good. And then you don't need the discipline anymore because your body will know what's good and what is not good.
With the film, we have the message, the really positive message that we have that is conveyed by the film is that by making more conscious lifestyle choices, including the food we eat, the exercise we should be doing, the choices we should make in throughout life, are more conscious lifestyle choices. So we're thinking more about the impact from that choice that we make. Then it will make a difference, and it will be the solution to all problems we have worldwide at the current time. So that's the positive message that we're conveying through Raw the documentary.
Starting from next week, in about 3 or 4 days' time, we're going to take the train up to Paris, and we're going to walk from Paris right down the length of France until we come to Spain. And then we turn left and go up over the Pyrenees, and we'll walk the Pilgrim Way right to a place called Santiago de Compostela.
Having turned right.
So there it will take us about 80 days, and we will be totally self-contained with backpacks on our back, and we'll be carrying all the fruit and vegetables that we need raw.
And we're doing that because a lot of people have said, well, it's okay for you because you're runners. I can't run for whatever reason. They say they can't run. So we're showing that, well, you can walk. Mm-hmm. You know, you don't have to run a marathon a day to show that you're healthy or to be healthy. You can walk, you can do all kinds of things so long as you're doing some kind of exercise. And so this is going to be a change of pace. We will walk 2,015 kilometers this year at age 70 and 66. I think it would be, hang on a sec. By making the most conscious lifestyle choices that we can, together we can make a difference.
And you, Helen?
I'm stuck for words here. I think people don't realise how simple it is to be a raw foodist. It is so simple. You just got to make a start.
Take that first step, and then one step at a time, you can do it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Merci. Au revoir.
Bye-bye.